Hello, stick around at the end to find out more about the next live show I'm doing, which will be an hour of stand-up in London's glorious East London area. Details at the end. In the meantime, let's talk some filth, shall we? This is probably true. Please be aware that the following contains strong language and adult themes. It would be boring without them. I was at the gym this morning checking out this ridiculously buff dude. Like, seriously, he's like really buff. The kind of thing that is either incredible genetics or the kind of buff that you only get with chemical assistance, if you get my drift. It would take me literally nothing short of a scalpel and a bicycle pump to look anything like him. There he was, all bulging and firm. Tits you could abseil down, and an arse that was just eating his shorts as he walked. It was glorious. Anyway, I'd seen him there a few times and tried to kind of smile at him like, all right, like you do, just to kind of be friendly. It's always nice to be friendly with fellow gym goers. You never know who you might need to help you with a weight or spot you with a particularly heavy lift or give you a cuddle in the showers when you get lonely, that kind of thing. So I'd tried to be friendly, but he'd never actually acknowledged me at all. And that's fine, each to their own. If you want to go to the gym and just work out and then leave, I suppose you can if you want to. Not everyone goes there for anything else, in the same way that you could go to the cinema and just watch the movie and not eat your body weight in snacks while you're there. Some people do it, I suppose, but it's more fun if you do the other stuff too. The snacks, aren't exactly necessary, but they do add to the overall experience, shall we say. Anyway, as I'm finishing my workout, I bump into one of the other many tarts that goes to my gym, and we decide, why not give each other a good scrub down in the showers? Just a friendly thing to do, really. Because just as I will sneak snacks into every possible pocket and under a hat and all that kind of thing when I go to the cinema, I'm also going to take advantage of getting noshed off in the showers when the opportunity presents itself. I think I've tortured this metaphor far enough, so I should probably let it go. Anyway, so there we are in the showers. It's a bit busy, so I kept my door almost closed just so I could see when the coast was clear for us to put on a little show for each other. And eventually, when it calmed down, I opened my door wide and kind of gave him a little shimmy and flicked things around so he could see what was going on, let the soap suds drip in strategic locations, things like that. But I noticed, as I was doing this, that a third cubicle was doing the same thing. And there was Mr. Muscles, just having a good old scrub down by himself, bubbles like slowly cascading down those pert and firm muscles, getting into every crevice. And as things were getting rather pointy for the three of us, we were all still in our separate cubicles, but I was quite tempted to join Muscles in his and, say hi, be friendly. We hadn't managed it before, but now seemed like a perfect time. But I noticed he still wasn't making eye contact with either of us or acknowledging that we were there. I mean, we were all there, naked, soapy, waving our throbbing willies at each other, but not even a nod or a smile or anything to kind of acknowledge that he was joining in. It felt like if we hadn't been there, he would have been doing exactly the same thing. Like our presence had no bearing at all on what he was doing. He just happened to be having a shower. He just happened to have the door open. He just happened to be throbbing and waving his stiffy around. I found this a bit strange because eye contact and all the kind of body language and the unspoken cues are a big part of cruising or any kind of public fun times, because you need to have ways of telling people that you're interested or that you could be interested if they're interested. It's that little dance backwards and forwards. You can't just stomp in, boner first, shouting, "Cop a load of this, bitches." I found that out the hard way. Anyway, as we all know, if you're not getting clear yes signals, however small, however subtle, especially when it comes to cruising and things like that, if you don't have a clear green light, that means they're not interested. Especially with cruising and stuff like that. It's a lot like Grindr in that no response is a response. If someone doesn't want to be into me, then that's their loss, not mine. I know it's hard to believe that there are people out there who wouldn't want a piece of this, but they do apparently exist. And all right, then. You just have to move on and find someone who does. Although when I was younger, I would spend weeks obsessing over the one person who wasn't into me rather than any number of people who were any number, over anyone who was into me. It's always the one that got away. It's always the one that wasn't interested. Ugh, tedious. If they're not interested, let them go. Have some fun with the ones that are interested. It's a poor fisherman who cares more about the fish that aren't in his nets than those who are. Sounded quite wise then, didn't I? Get me. Not just a cracking pair of tits. Anyway, my mate had clearly seen something I hadn't, because he was right in there on his knees having a lovely time. Since Muscles wasn't acknowledging me at all, I thought, all right, fine. I'll just keep watch. I can make sure that they're not going to be interrupted in their activities. I'm a good citizen in the gay land. I like to think of it as what we do for each other, you know? I think it counts towards my community service, but I will have to check with my parole officer next time I see him in the sauna. Anyway, and they both were enjoying the proceedings, I assume. Like, Muscles didn't run away or stop him or anything like that, and apparently they've hooked up before, so I just left them to it. But I noticed Muscles still wasn't making eye contact. Not with me, not with anyone else. He was pretending to be off in his own little world, not noticing the fact that my mate was going to town on his nethers. And I should give my friend his due and say that you would notice he's very good. He gets the job done. It's like being lovingly caressed by a industrial milking machine. Eventually, they were done. And the whole time, Muscles had just been not noticing what was going on or anything. According to my mate, that's just the way he is. He just doesn't do eye contact at all. Which I kind of understand. Like, I find it very awkward myself and quite uncomfortable a lot of the time, but just a little bit here and there to say, yes, carry on, or, oh, don't use your teeth so much, or whatever. Getting sexy without any eye contact at all is a little bit odd. It's like the sound of the fan that you keep running all night, or the feeling of wearing underwear, or the hand round your throat as you reach orgasm. You only really notice it when it's not there anymore. Not that you need to be making eye contact the whole time. Oh God, this is starting to get a bit like when someone says, "Why are you walking like that?" And then you'd tie your legs in knots and fall over because suddenly you've forgotten how to walk at all. You know, there's stuff that we do without thinking, and some eye contact, however brief, however fleeting, is part of that. It's part of the whole thing of being human, I think. It's like breathing. If I mention breathing to you now, then you're going to have to manually breathe for a moment because your subconscious or your unconscious or whatever has stopped doing it, and now your conscious brain's doing it. And it's a bit weird because it used to happen on its own, and suddenly, until you get distracted. If I start talking about big floppy willies or something, then it'll start happening on its own again, which is good because I do like talking about big floppy willies. God, these bodies are weird. Anyway, eye contact. None at all is strange. Some is good. Too much is creepy. It's a weird thing that we all kind of know but don't know, or we learnt because we're all a bit spicy-brained. It's all very, very weird. Job interviews are bad for this kind of thing. Maybe it's the spicy brain, but I spend so much brain power sitting up straight, eye contact, keeping my hands still, looking eager and alert, not asking if their sexual harassment policy is particularly strict, all of that kind of thing, that I'm not actually processing anything that I'm hearing, so I don't know how to answer any of the questions they give me. I'm sorry, I was too busy trying to look like a human. Could you ask me that again? Thanks. Anyway, eye contact. It can be quite intimate and very validating as a human. I remember during lockdown when I was stuck on my own for weeks on end, if I hadn't interacted with another human for a while, when I went to the shop and the person behind the counter looked at me and actually made eye contact, even for a moment, it was quite shocking. I felt quite vulnerable because I'd forgotten what it was to have actual face-to-face human interaction and not just a screen or whatever. That's, I suppose, why eye contact is a big part of flirting and stuff, because you're being intimate with them in a way that doesn't involve taking your clothes off or lube. And if they're keeping eye contact with you and it's all going quite well, then, to quote Shakespeare, you are well in there, my son. I remember when I was younger, as only a teenager, and just kind of like running around snogging people. There was someone who I'd snogged a few times, and I kind of snuck a look when you're kissing. Because when you're younger, you're supposed to keep your eyes closed when you snog. And I'd kind of like open them a little bit and like, so I could see them because I really fancied them. And I noticed that they were doing the same thing. And so we'd have this kind of awkward little kind of moment where we caught each other's eye and then quickly closed them again because we didn't want to be seen to be looking. And I thought it'd be really funny to just like keep my eyes wide open while we were snogging, waiting for them to open their eyes again. I thought that was funny. They did not. Apparently, it's quite creepy. Sometimes I think to myself, I'm amazing. Why am I single? And then I remember stuff like that and I'm like, oh yeah, that tracks. Thinking about eye contact generally, I've noticed that I always kind of like look away if I'm checking someone out and they notice me. It really fucking annoys me actually because I want to be seen to be checking them out. I want them to know that I'm looking at them. I want to be kind of sexy and confident, be like, hey, how you doing? Instead of just like, because I'm a confident person. I'm good at flirting and I find those things very attractive in other people. But for some reason, if someone catches me looking at them, I'll hurriedly look away. It's like a reflex. I don't get to choose. It just kind of happens. And I find it very annoying. And I think it comes from growing up in a super hetero world. You know, people didn't always appreciate being looked at like that by someone like me. And I suppose, however fabulous a queer I am now, there's still some shame-based patterns in there somewhere that are stopping me from keeping my sexy flirt on, at least to start with. You know, I get over it eventually. I suppose part of me's still not used to being looked at in an appreciative kind of way. I'd much rather be more kind of, yes, I know, drink it in. Who could blame you? Look at me. But instead, I just kind of awkwardly look away and pretend it was a coincidence that our eyes met across the room or whatever. And while that's happening, of course, my inner monologue is going absolutely mental. What if he thinks I fancy him? What if we end up like talking and getting on and then going on a date and falling in love and then living happily ever after? That'd be awful. Revolting. Although, again, I suppose it's about balance because if you make eye contact with a stranger and then never look away, it stops being sexy and starts being creepy. Real life is not like romance novels. If you notice someone looking at you from across the room and they just keep staring the whole time, that's a big red flag, not something sexy and intense and passionate. In romance books, so I'm told, the handsome stranger may stare broodingly from across the ballroom, and the woman's all like, "Oh, Mr. Darcy, your mesmerizing stare has me all undone. Please be gentle, I am but a fluffy bunny in your big, manly hands." Or something. I don't know. I've read books. Shut up. Personally, if someone was giving me an intense stare from across the room and just wouldn't look away, I'd probably be a bit more like, what? You want to fight? You want to take this outside? Because I will cry. I am not afraid to get loud and snotty. It'll get really embarrassing really quick. Is that what you want? Yeah, thought not. Off you fuck. Romance. Nailed it. That was Probably True, the LGBTQ plus storytelling project created to remind all of our queer siblings that we are none of us alone. If you liked it, then comment, share, subscribe, and join the Patreon. Or just tell all your friends. If you didn't like it, tell me. Come at me, bro. Thank you to everyone that came to the Probably True live show as part of the Cheerful Earful Podcast Festival last week. It was a roaring success, at least as far as any of you know. I'm going to say it was a sold-out room, and you can't prove otherwise, so let's just go with that. Anyway, my next gig is on the 10th of November, so a couple of weeks from now, at East London's The Divine. I will be doing an hour of stand-up comedy about being over 40 and queer and single and how that's all fine. Really, it's fine. It's absolutely fine. And I would love for you to come and watch me do that because, and also because I need to sell some tickets. So if you are available in London on Sunday, the 10th of November, it's in the afternoon. It's at like 2:30. So it's not even as if it'll be a late night. You can come, you can watch the thing, you can go away afterwards. In fact, even if you can't come, send me money. That's fine too. Thank you very much. If you are a Patreoner, you already get a free ticket, so just message me on there and I will sort that out for you. If you're not a Patreoner, you can sign up and become one right flipping now and still get a free ticket. Jobs are good. And and the show is called Fuck Me, I'm Old, or Fuck Me, I'm Old, or Fuck Me, I'm Old. I don't know. The intonation is entirely up to you, but that's what it's called. It's on at The Divine in East London on Sunday, November the 10th at 2:30 p.m. It'll be me doing some talking, telling some silly jokes, and I would love to see you there. Yeah. Bye.